stablecoins today and the impact on global trade and how people do business in 2025. To help us unpack this, we have Lansbury Choma Oludimu. She's the Vice President of Global Operations and Managing Director of Yellow Card. It's great to have you on the show.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's always a pleasure to be here.
Always great to have you. So we're seeing the rise of stable coins, at this point. And, for some of our viewers that don't understand what a stable coin is, help us break that down and why we're seeing this rise in, use of stable coins, even for cross-border payments.
Thank you, Ladi. I think in the simplest form, stablecoin is a token pegged to an asset, a currency, right? And what's the ones we have in the market currently are like USDC and USDT. And these tokens are backed by dollar 1-to-1. What that means is 1 USDT is equal to $1. 1 USDC or 1 USDC is equal to $1. So if you have 20 USDT, is equivalent to you having 20 US dollars.
Right. So I guess that stability and that peg, helps it to be used for, a number of things. But it seems we're seeing, cross-border transaction now. And, some would say maybe they didn't see this coming, with the rise of, cryptocurrency. The early days, no one really saw, the use of stable coins. But that's changing now.
Exactly. I think the reason is because African currencies are under pressure, right? And we have to, and for us Africans, especially Nigeria, we're heavy on importation. What that means is we need to pay out money, we need to pay for goods and services cross-border. And because of the pressure on the local currency, it's like the local currency is volatile. And another thing is the liquidity of FX in the country, not just in Nigeria, but in the whole of the African continent, right? And because we have less in circulation, less FX in circulation, then there has to be an alternative for making those payments across border. And we have all seen over the years that stable coins has actually come in as a solution to this problem. So what we see currently is people making payments, cross-border payments with stable coins because they don't have access to FX, is in shortage, right? And also the local currency is not stable, right? The rate this morning may not likely be the rate in the evening. And we need something that is stable. We need something to serve as an alternative to make cross-border payments. We have so many businesses in Nigeria, so many businesses in Africa that are dependent on cross-border transaction, cross-border business. That's how the business works, right? And they have to make payments outside. So what we have seen, there was actually a report that was published by Chainalysis, and they did like an analysis of what happened within the sector from June 2023 to June 2024. And what we can see from that report shows that transactions in stable coins alone is about 43%. And transactions in Bitcoin was about 18.1%. What that means that a combination of transactions in Bitcoin and the other cryptocurrencies is lesser than the transactions that were actually conducted with stable coins. So you can see stable coins is evolving, right? It's gaining traction. And for the future, we see a future where stable coin will be like an alternative to the usual FX transactions.
Right.
And that's what we're seeing currently.
Quite interesting, because that eliminates a number of middlemen.
Exactly.
Looking at efficiencies.
Yes.
So, talking about financial inclusion, we keep talking about we need to get more people financially included. Is stable coins, are they playing any part in that?
Exactly. Previously we talked about cross-border payments with stable coins. I think another big thing that is happening with stable coins is remittance, right? And we're talking about financial inclusion, like in Yellow Card, that's our vision. We want everybody to have access to financial services, irrespective of who you are and where you are. You should have access to financial services. So what stablecoin do for us is like a means to bring in everyone to this financial sector. Right? You can imagine we have so many Nigerians outside the country, and they have families down here. Some of them even do investment in Nigeria, and they need to send funds back, right? If they do with the usual traditional way of sending funds back, you can see that there are a lot of businesses, there are a lot of touch points. If you're sending funds through SWIFT, you can see it leaves the sending bank, goes to an intermediary, goes to the receiver's bank.
And by the time it gets to you,
exactly,
how much would it cost
exactly,
to send that money?
Exactly. And let me tell you, Ladi, one of the things that made Yellow Card, or that made the co-founders establish Yellow Card, was to solve problems like this. Right? The CEO found himself in a bank, found a Nigerian professor who was trying to send money back to Nigeria, was trying to send about $200, and the whole charge back to Nigeria was about $80. You can imagine you're in the US and you want to send money back home, you have $200 and you have to spend $80 just to spend the funds. So just to send the funds. So it means your family is receiving $120, right? But think of using stable coins for that, right? It leaves your wallet, it hits your family members' wallet.
How much does it cost to send, through, the blockchain?
Some chains, some networks are free, while others you just need to pay a token less than a cent, right? And the average cost of sending funds from outside the country to Nigeria. And for every fund you send, for any of those banks that have to process the transaction, it takes time, and also they need to deduct their transaction fees. So by the time the money gets to you, you have little or nothing.
Right, and you have to go and get more money to add to what you actually finally got. But, there's still that big issue about, regulating cryptocurrency, regulating stable coins. That conversation is still ongoing at this point, and I don't know if there's been any headway yet, when it comes to regulating this segment.
There is, or there has been, right, from 2023, 2024, and 2025. So things have really evolved. Regulators have come to understand that there is need to regulate the space, right? As you see the stablecoin evolving, cross-border transaction evolving, things are changing, new technologies and all that. The same way the bank actors are increasing, the same way they are getting smarter, right? So if we have to keep this sector sane, if we have to build integrity around this sector, there has to be regulation. And Ladi, what we have seen so far is an increase in interest and collaboration with the stakeholders, right? In Nigeria, we already have guidelines, and we have about 2 entities that have actually got the license, and we have others that their licenses are still being processed. So like they say, Nigeria is the big brother, right? This is not exactly the same in the rest of the African markets where we operate, right? We have in Botswana, we have a licensing regime in Botswana. Yellow Card was actually the first exchange to get that license. So Yellow Card is the first exchange to acquire a license within the African continent. We have a licensing regime in South Africa. We also have acquired the license in South Africa. We operated under the sandbox environment in Zambia. Zambia has a sandbox regime. So you see different regulators in different markets at different stages of regulation. Some are trying to build their regulation. Some have created a sandbox environment where players can actually operate under the supervision of the regulators, because they want to have an idea what is happening, and that would help them to put a regulation that is fit for purpose. And we also have some advanced markets that have, instead of having sandbox, they already have a licensing regime. Like I said, Botswana came out first, apart from Central Africa licensing regime.
So Africa is definitely moving fast.
Yes, Africa is moving fast. I think the most interesting part of this whole evolution is the interest and the willingness of the regulators to collaborate with the stakeholders. Right.
All right. So much to unpack there, and definitely, and it's still very early days, in 2025. I'm sure a lot will happen or evolve, in this segment. But thank you so much. It was great having your perspective. That's Lasberry Oludimish, Vice President of Global Operations and Managing Director of Yellow Card Nigeria. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you so much, Ladi. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.